Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name's Amy. I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the NIV, and we are in the book of Job. We are in chapter 20 of Job. Now, Job has lost everything in one day, like all of his children, because they were all having a meal together, and that house, got crushed, and they all died. And then all of his, servants, all killed by like raiders or something, and then all the flocks, all of his, all stolen or killed. I mean, everything. Then covered in sores, and this all because the devil and God are having a conversation, and God is agreeing to test Job. And Job is having this argument with his friends because they spent a week sitting shiva with them, like it's supposed to be. And then when they finally spoke, people were full of judgment and aggression and grief, right? So they're challenging God. And that's an extreme level of grief. And it's not unusual for people when they've lost loved ones and to suffer that kind of trauma to blame God and yell and scream. God can handle it. His friends, however, rushed to defend God and are now screaming at him back about how he's a sinner and he must be a sinner. They have not. This is well before the existence of Jesus. This is, Job is not set in, it's not like Job is contemporary with Ezra. Now, there's bunches of communication, of biblical scholars, people who spend far more time than me coming through and giving opinions of this. Some people do place it around the Persian exile, and that's certainly where it's kind of placed in the Bible. But in reality, if you're listening to the things that they're talking about, like Job is doing sacrifices for his family. Okay, so either Job's not supposed to do that because he's not a Levite. They don't talk about his parentage coming from the Levitical tribe. Or, as many biblical scholars believe, this is pre-Moses. This is back in a time around Abraham, Isaac. We're talking back in those days in which you would do that kind of thing. As the patriarch of the family, you were the priest. You were the religious leader. You were the, thinking of it as like the governor of your homestead. Okay, so this is not set during at times when like they don't know Jesus, so they don't know that Jesus said bad things can happen to good people, and don't look at tragic events as a conviction of somebody's character. Right, but this is way before the existence of that here. So you have a whole bunch of people not acting right in reality. We're going to get to read some more about that. Zophar, chapter 20, verse 1. Then Zophar, the Naamathite, replied, "My troubled thoughts prompt me to answer, because I am greatly disturbed. I hear a rebuke that dishonors me, and my understanding inspires me to reply. Surely you know how it has been from old. Ever since man," you get a footnote of E here, or Adam, "was placed on the earth, that the mirth of the wicked is brief, and the joy of the godless lasts but a moment. Though his pride reaches to the heavens, and his head touches the clouds, he will perish forever, like his own dung." Wow. "Those who have seen him will say, 'Where is he?' Like a dream he flies away, no more to be found, banished, like a vision of the night. The eye that saw him will not see him again. His place will look on him no more. His children must make amends to the poor. His own hands must give back his wealth. The youthful vigor that fills his bones will lie with him in the dust. Though evil is sweet in his mouth, and he hides it under his tongue, Though he cannot bear to let it go and keeps it in his mouth, yet his food will turn sour in his stomach. It will become a venom of serpents within him. He will spit out the riches he swallowed. God will make his stomach vomit them up. So push somebody hard enough, and God will show you the venom that's secretly hiding underneath until it spews out of their mouth in a word vomit of rage, because they won't be able to keep it from happening. And again, this guy is grieving the loss of his family, so they're being... He will suck the poison of serpents. The fangs of an adder will kill him. That's a type of snake. He will not enjoy the streams, the rivers flowing with honey and cream. Milk and honey and cream. Okay. What he toiled for, he must give back uneaten. He will not enjoy the profit from his trading. For he has oppressed the poor and left them destitute. He has seized houses he did not build. Surely he will have no respite from his craving. He cannot save himself by his treasure. Nothing is left for him to devour. His prosperity will not endure. In the midst of his plenty, distress will overtake him. The full force of misery will come upon him. When he has filled his belly, God will vent his burning anger against him and rain down his blows upon him. Though he flees from an iron weapon, a bronze-tipped arrow pierces him. He pulls it out of his back, the gleaming point of his liver. Terrors will come over him. Total darkness lies in wait for his treasures. A fire unfanned will consume him and devour what is left in his tent. The heavens will expose his guilt. The earth will rise up against him. A flood will carry off his house. Rushing waters, footnote F, the possessions in his house will be carried off, washed away on the day of God's wrath. Such is the fate God allots to the wicked, the heritage appointed for them by God. And so his friend is going, hold on a second. Everybody knows this is the kind of stuff that happens if you stand there blaspheming God. And look, because literally what they're describing is kind of what Job's life situation is going on. Only he was, as told in the beginning of the story, not doing anything wrong. And this is a game between God and the devil. Tests occur. Tests determine your character. How we handle the stresses is the point. Now we got the next chapter, chapter 21, is Job's response to Zophar. So, if you want to find out the state of Job, because remember they've been really excitable and like yelling at each other, and that can only sustain for so long. If you really want to hear what Job has got to say in response, you're going to need to come back for the next video, friends.